Hello, my name is Host Eric. This is my beloved TWFP partner and life partner Rachel. And together today we're going to be exploring MBTI takeaways from the season finale of Love Island.
Season 3.
Season 3. CBS's original show features people going to an island and forming relationships with each other and such. It's a show I just started watching like 2 episodes ago after Rachel was watching it and into it, and I came in today. I started watching a little bit of it. Thought we'd make this video. So basically, what we're going to type each of the last 5 couples. We're going to start with the last couple that was kicked off of this show before the finale. And when we look at that particular couple, we see they are, of course, Andre and Trina. Now, after some discussion, Rachel and I have typed these two, ISFP and ENFJ, respectively.
Yeah.
Andre didn't really seem to have much of anything to say.
No, he really didn't. Just that he was a family man and he was very devoted to his child.
A quiet FI Dom lends one to typing them as ISFP. Now, in contrast, Trina here, we typed as ENFJ. And interestingly, in the show before, when they finally revealed which was the last couple to get kicked off, I said to Rachel, there's no way it's going to be Trina because she's the only one who's providing any sort of intelligent talk to the group about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And she's a useful guide to the viewer. But of course, the question they asked was not which couple do you want to keep for general purposes. It was which couple is least compatible.
Yeah.
And the vote was quite decisive. 4-1 against Trina and Andre here.
Yeah, and I would agree. I mean, I like Trina a lot. I liked her during the beginning of the season and up until the end because I thought she had a lot of smart things to say about relationships. It seemed like she was really there for a commitment. It's just that maybe things could have developed between her and Andre, but there wasn't enough time.
And of course, with an ENFJ, she's somewhat focused half of her attention on how everybody else is doing. She's giving other people advice. She's talking to Will about his relationship with Kyra.
Yep.
Which means she's not spending time getting closer to Andre.
Yes.
All right, shall we go to the next couple?
Yes.
So in other words, not a terrible pairing, ENFJ and ISFP. In my opinion, ENFJ's ideal mate is ISTP, but this could work, but like Rachel said, not enough time. All right, now let's go to the next couple. We'll get rid of old Andre and Trina here and replace them with Korey and Bailey.
Olivia,
sorry. Korey and Olivia. So we have typed, and I think this is the most obvious typing of all, probably.
Yeah.
Korey's an ESFP. Olivia, ESFJ. Now, this makes sense because to me, they feel like the most naturally compatible couple. The couple with the most actual chemistry on the show.
Yeah, she was really picky and choosy in who she wanted to be with, and she really was in there for love, I believe. And he was actually, he had trouble in the beginning. He was almost voted off twice. So they've been at the house the longest, and I think that they do actually get along very well.
Yeah, and I think that there's a natural compatibility between SE Dom and an SI Dom because the an SE Dom, well, in this case, an SE Dom with an FE Dom because there's the FE Dom wants to see, especially an FESI person, wants to see a bunch of socially validating stuff for the group. The ESFP is down to do whatever and is feeling it at the moment. So they're displaying really well for the group, for the TV. They're the most naturally we're together on this, putting on a display for everybody.
Yes.
And
he makes her breakfast.
And they both agree that that's sort of an absolute value for them in some sense, getting this shit handled, executing this show, whether for SE reasons or FE reasons. Well, and they really seem to hit it off. But I bet once they're off the show, they aren't going to be nearly as compatible.
I would agree with that. Like Eric said, there is a lot of ease to them that when they speak, they're on the same page clearly about what they want for themselves in the moment. But like Eric also said, it may be different after the villa.
Okay, and keep in mind, neither Rachel or I actually know who won this thing.
No, we don't.
But I'm predicting these guys probably won. But
Well, it was
I could
up
be
to
wrong.
the viewers, so
Well, we'll
I'm
find
not
out.
sure. We'll
We're
find
like
out.
halfway through the finale.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're a strong couple.
All right, let's look at the next couple. Bailey and Jeremy. So this one was the hardest one for us to type
Yeah.
in. We settled on INFJ for Bailey and ISTP for Jeremy.
Yep.
This is a pretty damn good relationship match in general because the TI dominant ISTP shares an absolute value with the TI third slot INFJ. Mm. The INFJ's FE tool is similarly instrumental to the ISTP's FE fourth, but the ISTP can use and benefit from the help. The only problem, of course, is long term. The INFJ will be disillusioned by the ISTP's lack of ideation. In other words, the INFJ's absolute value fifth slot function, extroverted intuition, is the blind spot of the ISTP, and that ultimately is going to be a problem for them.
Yeah, like right now, when we saw them on their first date, it was pretty... There wasn't a lot of talking except about how they felt about each other and the attraction that they had towards each other. There really wasn't much ideation, like you were saying.
Right.
So, you could tell that there was attraction between the two. But other than that, again, this is a couple that didn't have any room to grow.
The fifth slot problem goes both directions, too. It's like the INFJ's TE polar, not being able to figure this shit out for herself, is going to be annoying to the ISTP eventually, and the ISTP's inability to come up with any new ideas is going to be annoying to the INFJ eventually.
Well, it's funny that you say that because one of the days all the girls decided to cook breakfast for the boys, and Bailey was like, "Oh my gosh, do you like it?" And you could tell like he totally didn't. He said he did, but he totally like didn't.
For the record, I'm an ENTP, Rachel's an INFJ.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go on to... I think this is a couple that could last for a while, but is doomed to fail eventually.
So, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a connection outside of the show.
Right.
I could see them.
It'd be sort of on and off again. Stop by when you're in town kind of flame thing.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, next up we have Alana and Charlie.
Yes.
Okay. So, we've typed Charlie as ISFP. It's not surprising you're going to get SFPs on these kind of shows.
Yeah, we were saying how you have to be comfortable in front of the cameras a lot of times, and not only are you interacting with people and, kind of trying to establish yourself in a relationship, but they have you doing challenges at the same time. So I can see ISFPs and ESFPs being down for those kind of challenges.
Well, what kind of things link to wanting to be on a show like this? First of all, you're going to be under scrutiny on camera. So you either got to be autopilot comfortable with yourself. Well, I'm always authentic, so I don't care. ISFP. Or you got to be autopilot on. Like, for example, Alana.
Yes.
ESFJ, FE Dom.
Yes.
We got ENFJ, FE Dom. INFJ, FE Tool. You've got your SEFIs mixed in because it's a combination of wanting to be front and center, half of it, or being so comfortable with who you are that front and center is just naturally not scary to you.
Yeah.
And that means, SFPs and FE Doms, or in general.
Yeah, I'm going to be comfortable with that sort of thing.
Now, is this going to be a good couple?
I think they have actually potential. I really do. He keeps choosing her, and she seems very into him. And the reason that I say that is because something that we talked about is body language. And she, when they're hanging out at the villa, will put her leg over his and have her arm around his shoulder. She's very relaxed and open with him.
I should note this is something that Rachel notes a lot more explicitly or consciously than I do. And when it came to which couple had the least chemistry, and I really thought about it, I agreed with everybody else that it was Trina and Andre that had the least chemistry. But it's funny, even though they asked that question, I didn't analyze it through that perspective initially. However, in a couple coming up, we'll talk a little bit more about this FE body language thing here. I think the thing to note is these two validate on each other's fifth slot functions. So FE means FI ignoring validation for the FI dom. FE ignoring means FI validation for the FE dom. So they validate on each other's first. But the problem is, on the second slot function, they countervalue each other's tool. So they basically are going to ultimately not like the way, like when they're on vacation and they're not having to do practical things in the world, their tool function counter-value conflict isn't going to come up that much. But when they actually start having a relationship and being together over time, then they're going to dislike the way the other person does stuff in the world, basically, or think they're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't think this one has any chance. I mean, I hate to be like, saying that already. Who knows what the viewers really wanted, but I don't think.
So he keeps picking her, huh? I think he likes big butts and he cannot lie.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Because again, with the body language, he doesn't. He's very open and stuff.
He's a big American male, comfortable in his own body.
Yeah, in his own body, but he's not like. There's no movements towards her, not even his feet.
So you think he's not as attracted to her as she is to him?
Yes, I think she's more all in. She's like, I'm on this show. I want a relationship. You're my partner. You chose me.
My experience. I'm using my experience right now and my FE to just ignore any larger NI questions. Yes. Okay, let's go on to the next couple. Those two are an interesting couple. They certainly seemed relaxed together on camera.
Yes.
We definitely should give them that at least.
I agree with that.
Okay, now next we have Kyra and Will. I've got Will typed, and I think this one is pretty obvious. Like,
yes.
Of all the ISFPs, he's the most ISFP.
He is the most ISFP.
And I have Kyra typed as ISFJ, and I think the reason for this is what this relationship seems like is Kyra's all in and trying to confirm and teach or make sure that Will is also all in.
Yes.
But I think Kyra's all in because she's an ISFJ who loves the one she's with.
Yes,
you can could replace Will with anybody and she'd be just as all in.
Well, I feel like she feels lucky to have Will, which an ISFJ could feel that. I know, right?
I mean, this guy, talk about a bucket of rocks. The scene where he goes, yeah, I think it's like too slow. It's like too slowly.
We both laughed out loud. Like, couldn't help it.
What?
Yeah, like, seeing her own self-worth, she's like you said, love the one you're with, and she's with Will, and so I
think she expects that if she loves hard, it will produce results.
It will produce it, and
it's sort of FE tool SI dom.
But I will
experience the warmth of my hard loving.
Yes.
In return.
Yes, and it shows very much and again with body language, she's very much all over Will, letting him know like, I'm yours. Like,
I think this is the most one-sided couple. Like I don't.
Yes, I
don't
agree.
Believe in
one side.
I don't believe in them as a couple.
No, it's very one-sided. It's very much more her into him, and he has his reservations, and a lot of people don't like that about him, and that's something that Trina brought up to Will was like, what are you doing? Like.
Well, see, she was the one who was managing other people's well-being, right, and not kindling her own chemistry. No. And that's why she got booted off.
Yeah.
But I wish she had stuck around because I liked her interesting commentary.
Yes, I did too, Trina.
Okay.
But yeah, so this couple has longevity. They've been together the longest, but I think
He cheated,
Will messed
though.
up. Yeah.
He kissed another girl from Casa Amore. And
they haven't been.
They've been meowing that ever since, which makes sense
Yeah.
for her being an SI dom too. It's like she can't get past this thing that's occurred, and him being SI countervaluing ISFP goes, but that shit doesn't matter, and it's a sort of a fundamental frame disagreement because ISFJs are alpha quadra, which means they have 3 metaphysical functions and 1 physical function up front. So their physical function up front, what the ISFP does all the time is going to validate with their 5th slot function SE validation thing, but that's not who that guy is. It's just what he does. Who that guy is, she's going to countervalue it eventually because he's thinking about what he feels. She's thinking about what he feels.
Yep.
But she's also trying to sort of direct what he feels.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't like that. It shows sometimes the tension. Like, he asked the guys earlier in the season, like, what do you feel about all the kissing? Because he clearly wasn't comfortable with it.
He's not quite as much of a slut as everybody else on the show. Okay, so let's wrap it up on this note. I have to say,
is that the last couple?
That is the last couple, isn't it? I believe. Yes, it is.
So, yeah.
And so let's wrap it up so that it does well on YouTube instead of just us yammering on forever. Hopefully people enjoyed this.
Yeah,
I'm
hope you
hoping to
do.
ride the wave of this particular trending topic by mixing it with our own topic.
Yeah.
And if you like the video, please do thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, I put out MBTI content quite a bit. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.